Go back to your country. Well, what if we did? Imagine if every black and brown person went back to their country of origin, discovered by whatever means. Here's what would happen in the first 30 days. Stick around for day 30, because that's when the truth really lands. Day 1. Hospitals, buses, supermarkets, construction sites, thousands of essential workers gone overnight. Services collapse before the morning rush. Days 2 to 4, headlines are screaming, labour shortage crisis! Schools close early, warehouses back up, food deliveries stall. Parents scramble, and businesses, they start panicking like mad. Days 5 to 7, the government hold emergency meetings, like that's gonna help. Recruitment drives fail, because there's not enough skills left in the country. Immigration police, once hostile, suddenly start looking desperate. Meanwhile, communities abroad are starting to welcome back their doctors, engineers and teachers. Days 8 to 12, the media run frantic, start running think pieces like, what if they never come back? Stock market dips, inflation spikes, and racists who once said go back start to complain. Who's gonna run our trains? Who's gonna clean our hospitals? Like that's all we do. Days 13 to 17, the supply chain jams. Crops rot in the fields, supermarkets ration their stock, and protests erupt in major cities as prices climb and services are broken. Days 18 to 21, the Western economy buckles and investors start to pull their money abroad. Skilled workers start to build, sparking growth across Africa, Asia, the Caribbean and Latin America. Reverse brain drain is underway. Days 22 to 25, corporate leaders start admitting the obvious. We depended on them. Politicians try spin the thing, but the public ain't buying it, and confidence in the government crumbles. Now who's clapping for crumbs? Days 26 to 29, the chaos deepens. Airports still half empty, hospitals still understaffed, businesses shutting down left, right and centre. And now, commentators start saying the quiet part out loud. We asked them to leave, and now we're paying the price. Day 30, a month later, and the insult collapses under its own weight. Black and brown communities aren't the burden, they're the backbone. And now the Western world just proved it. They said go back, and in just 30 days, the irony was clear. But that's just the first month. If you want to know what happens in the first year, drop a comment below. And follow if you're done watching passively. We decode the myth, and we don't clap for crumbs.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Guys, we need to talk about these crazy questions. What if all black and brown people in America disappear? No warning, just proof they are gone. First, the idea is not good. It comes from a racist way of thinking. It treats black and brown people like they are not important, like America can do without them. But that's a lie. Black and brown people built America. Slavery built the economy. Black workers, Latino workers, immigrants, they made the farms, the road. Without them, America would not even stand today. Now, let's talk about culture. No black and brown people means no jazz, no hip-hop, no R&B, no soul, no style, no spice. America would be boring, empty, and dry.
So, since there's so many of y'all on here talking about go back to Africa, you should go, blah, 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 I decided to ask ChatGPT, Chat, what would happen if all black Americans left the U.S. and returned to Africa? And one thing ChatGPT do not do is lie, baby. So this is what ChatGPT said. This is food for thought for everybody who's saying go back to Africa. So first, black Americans make up 14% of the U.S. population and contribute significantly to healthcare, education, sports, entertainment, government. And a sudden departure would create significant labor shortages. That's one. 2, black Americans contribute over $1.7 trillion annually to the U.S. economy. A departure like that would create a sudden loss of economic power. 3. Black-owned businesses which employ millions of Americans would shut down or relocate, shifting the wealth to whatever country all of us went to. Number 4. Now this one gonna really piss you off. This one gonna piss you off. Loss of cultural influence. Black Americans, and I quote, Black Americans have shaped U.S. culture through jazz, hip-hop, and blues, fashion, language, and sports. Their departure would significantly alter America's cultural identity. Of course, we know that there will be a shift in elections, particularly for the Democratic Party. There won't be a need for NAACP and Black Lives Matter. But here's where it gets good again. A decline in innovation. Blacks foster creativity and innovation. The loss of racial diversity could slow technological advances. See, y'all ancestors ain't tell y'all how sick y'all was. See, y'all, before y'all found us, y'all was fighting each other. See, ain't nobody passed that information on to y'all. Y'all don't know about all that. See, our people passed information on. Y'all people didn't. Y'all wanted to be lost in translation, but we know. We know. We know.
Black people, I have a proposition. As a member of the African community, if America do not stop is nonsense, it's time for y'all to come home. I will literally build Noah's Ark with my bare 2 hands, gather every last Black person in the United States. It's gonna be a party boat too. We are all going back to Africa, and Wakanda will become a reality. Thunder fire this country. If you're not Black but you're sick of America too, there'll be a very selective application process. But we skedaddling out of here.
I just watched a video about how this woman refinanced her home and how basically she is going to owe way more money than she already owed. Even though her payments are getting lowered, she's still going to owe more money, and talking about how it's such a scam. Yeah, pretty much everything in America is a scam. So health insurance, we pay $500 a month for health insurance, all right? But then you have a deductible. Some things apply to the deductible, some things don't. You have a copay every time that you go, but there's like a max allotted copay. So mine is $2,000 per person, but at like a family max, I think of $5,000 or something like that. Anyway, so I pay $25, when I go see a regular doctor, $50 if it's a specialist, $25 like for my therapy. But if I hit that $2,000 out of pocket, then they cover everything, all right? So you're telling me I pay $500 a month, and then I have a $2,000 out of pocket pay, and then you'll cover everything at 100% as long as it's covered. But that doesn't apply to prescription medication. That only applies to like doctor's visits and things like that. Don't get me wrong, I have pretty good insurance, and I'm very privileged to have insurance, especially in America, but that's insane. That's crazy. Everything is a scam in America, and the new American dream is to leave.
This message is for you. Why are so many Americans leaving the U.S.? You notice more and more people are packing and moving abroad, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Life in the U.S. is a non-stop grind. You work, you pay bills, you stress. You don't really get to live. You're just existing. And I always say to you guys, you're not depressed. You just live in the U.S. Because the truth is, this environment wears you out. The politics, the rising of the crime, the constant pressure, it never ends. And let's not get on the food. It feels like every week there's a recall. Another recall, another GMO, some more pesticides, more chemicals. And you know the saying, you are what you eat. So if they keep filling everything up with junk, that means you're actually junk. You don't really get to be healthy. And don't forget about the healthcare. One bill here can wipe out your savings. But in other countries, you get better care for lower costs. fresher food, calmer lifestyle, and suddenly leaving doesn't sound so crazy after all, right? So for many Americans, it's not about running away. It's about moving forward to something better. So leaving the U.S. is not giving up the dream. It's actually living the American dream.
And money, black and brown communities spend trillions every year. Small shops, restaurants, and every big companies will lose their business overnight if they were gone. But here is the real problem. The question is not just pretend. It connects to the real racism today. People try to erase black and brown history from schools. They try to block their votes. They act like these people don't matter. That's the danger. Thank you for watching my videos. If you love this breakdown, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to help the channel grow.